Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't eaten in 3 days, and I'm craving cannoli. So we're going to keep this brief this week. We're going to keep it short and sweet because I'm hangry. I'm hangrier than I've ever been. I'm being catty to everyone around me. And I'm doing it because I want to live longer. And apparently when you do this 86-hour bone broth fast, where you consume nothing but electrolytes and chicken bone broth, it will extend your life in that it lowers your risk of Alzheimer's and cancer by like 70%. So I'm looking to extend my life, and yet when I'm doing the fast, I want nothing more than to just fucking put a bullet in my head. That's where I'm at right now. So literally when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I should just go back to bed because my body is eating itself. It's slowly dying right now, but it's for a good cause. But I don't have a lot of patience. We're going to get right into it this week. There's a lot going on. It's a bad week to be a globalist. Kamala Harris is apparently going to run on the docket. And I know that that's all you guys have been consuming right now. The past week is news about the end of the world and so on and what's going on this year. So we're going to dial it in and we're going to focus on some lighter matters, which are equally upsetting, such as Ricardo Calafiori's girlfriend and what she's been putting him through the past couple of weeks and why she needs to have her head put on a stick. Cesare Casadei and the Italian youth movement. That's not a Mussolini thing. That's referring to the U19 national team. And much more. Much, much more. We have a ton to get to on the pod this week. I got very short patience, and it's going to be a short pod. I'm Sam Adamo, and this is the Bordello. All right, what's going on, folks? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of the Bordello. I'm driving my girlfriend nuts. We're moved into a new place together, and this is a new kind of tentative studio setup as I just hit my head on on an overhead lamp. That's the bone broth right there coming up that I just tried to eat like soup with a spoon out of a bowl warmed up to trick myself into thinking I was eating. Yeah, we have a new setup here. I'm not sure if we're going to have to tinker with the lighting going forward. We probably will, but we have a nice little background here. If you're just listening in, I encourage you to tune in on YouTube, toss a like on the video, leave a like. The show is free. That's all you could do to really help us at the moment is to keep watching, keep liking it, keep subscribing, and leave a brain-dead comment below on your opinion of anything, on who you think runs the world or on who you think should play for the Italian national team in 2 years. It doesn't really matter. It all helps us. So thank you for tuning in. I am driving my girlfriend nuts. We were hanging up prints from Naples that we took a couple of years ago when we were last there to hang over our bathtub. And I scratched the wall with one of the frames. And I took an ass wipe and I started wiping it. And she said, don't do that. It'll strip the paint. And I've been using Lysol wipes on the wall the past week anytime a scratch would occur. And nothing would happen. No paint would be stripped. So I thought I knew better, and I kept wiping, but because I had an ass wipe instead of a Lysol wipe, there was less alcohol content, so it was less effective, so I had to push harder. And sure as shit, the paint was scraped. So for good luck, we're going to have, a painting covering up a little splotch with a little section on the wall that is clearly not quite the same shade of white, and we're going to live with it. We're going to say it's for good luck, but it's going to bother me to no end for the whole time that we're living here. And I might have to covertly remove the painting at some point and find out what kind of paint we have here and do it myself and probably make it worse. That's probably what will happen. It's been a fun. My girlfriend just said she'll kill me if I do that. Nice. My girlfriend actually, Paula pulled a fun move earlier. She filmed me when I was arguing about something with her. She said, "I want to film you to show you how nuts you sound," because she said, sometimes people don't want to talk about stuff right away. You need to let it sit. And I said, those people need to grow up. And she said, I should film you. You sound so crazy. She went full Mason Greenwood's girlfriend on me and filmed me. Unclear if I'll get a 30 million pound move to Marseille someday with their number 10 shirt. To be fair, what he did was a lot worse than what I was doing on camera, arguing with my girlfriend about whether people should just grow up and talk about shit as it's happening instead of sitting on it and waiting until they're ready to talk about it. That's not as bad as what Mason Greenwood did, allegedly raping and assaulting his girlfriend, but she's now pregnant, so it's all good. He's got the number 10 shirt for Marseille, one of the oldest clubs in France. And it's a great city for that, apparently, by all accounts, because the people of Marseille, I saw a video the other day of a man on the street kind of interviewing fans, and there were some people that were against it or opposed to the idea that non-convicted, but basically in the court of public opinion, there were tapes and video of the girlfriend walking around all beat up and tape of her saying, "I don't want to have sex, Mason." And he was like basically saying, "Shut up, bitch." And it's not good. But so some people are opposed to it in Marseille, but there were a lot of people on the streets there who said, "I'll buy his shirt." Someone had the audacity to say, I'm going to say it in French, on frappe pas quelqu'un pour rien. You don't hit someone for no reason. So maybe he's in the right place. Perhaps he's in the right place. Gareth Southgate would not call him up, even though he had a great season for England. But, I guess for behavioral reasons, for morale reasons, for ethical reasons, he wasn't called up. Who knows who the New England manager will be? Maybe he is the answer to their problems. Perhaps it'll take a convicted sexual offender or a non-convicted sexual offender. But again, a guy who he wasn't convicted because she dropped the charges, but we all know what really happened, unfortunately. And they're trying to move past that, and maybe we should let them do that in peace. But it's hard to kind of, listen, you wouldn't want your kid wearing his jersey. We'll put it that way. But maybe you need that guy if you're England. Maybe he's the answer to win a tournament ever. Anyway, a lot to get to. I have really short patience this week, man. Italian people, immigrants generally, but this is just a random message to Italian people who will give your kid a stupid name because it's in your family. Just stop doing that. There was a video I saw of La Zanzara a few days ago. La Zanzara is one of the La Zanzare sono delle zanzare, una zanzara. Yeah, I think they call it La Zanzara. Doesn't matter. I'm saying it's a lot of the letter Z that I just said. I got to dial in here. La Zanzara is a show, I think, based out of Rome or Milan. I'm not sure. But it's on like Rai 24. I don't even know what channel it's on. It's a fucking prominent Italian radio show. Hosted by, what's his name? Cruciani. He's very funny. Great satirist. Saw a video of him the other day taking a call from a guy named Caterino in Cassino, or Caterino in Salerno, or Caterino in fucking Avellino, somewhere in the south. It's Southern Italians. I'm talking to my people here. Southern Italians need to fucking end it with the stupid names. There was a guy named Caterino, and so not Caterina, Catherine, Caterino. Like the male version of Catherine. A name which I'd never heard before. Apparently he hadn't either, the radio host, and he mocked him for it. I actually posted a story about this on Instagram a few days ago. And the guy was kind of incredulous. Like the guy who had called in, named Caterino, was kind of like, "Why are you making fun of me?" Ma che Caterino? Ma che nome? È un nome. It's a name. And no, it's not. There's a lot of that going on. This guy probably didn't just get that name out of the blue. It was probably his grandfather's name, and his father decided to honor it. And it's like, hey, just because one stupid person bestows a dumb name on someone 200 years ago, some illiterate fuck in Avellino says, Caterina è un bel nome. Fucking, I loved my mother. She was named Caterina. I'm going to name my son Caterino. I'm tired of having sons. I've been wanting a daughter all these years, as if a Southern Italian would have said that in the 1800s. But let's just pretend use your imagination here. So I don't know. I've had 4 sons. This is the 5th. It looks like I'm not having a daughter. Fuck it. Caterino. I'm naming you after my mother. And then just the name stays in the family for generations. Every 2 generations, one kid gets teased in high school or in elementary school his whole life. Caterino. And apparently, even as an adult, when you call in on the radio and go, "Ciao, mi chiamo Caterino, sono da Salerno, voglio parlare con la Crax." Ma Caterino, ma che Caterino? Where does that name come from? There's a guy I know, a friend of my family, said that he wanted to name his kid Erasmo. Okay? Erasmus? I don't even... Raz? Because his great-grandfather was named Erasmo and he loved the man. Now, that's a beautiful story. That's a beautiful sentiment. It's a crazy name to want to name your kid. And the woman he was with at the time was actually willing to name their kid that, which is crazy. Sorry? What?
Definitely was not willing.
Oh, my Paula knows the woman. Well, from what I understand, I think the lady was at least feigning interest in the name. She was playing along with it anyway, leading the kid on to think, yeah, okay, if we have a son, we'll name him Erasmo. Now, bear in mind.
They were 19. I think she was hoping he would come to his senses.
Okay, you know the peanut gal. I got no patience here. We don't need interjections here. I mean, this is gonna be what the pod is like now going forward. Condo living. Me with the lady. I'm rolling solo. No Dilo. Dilo started a new job. He's moving on to bigger and better things. I understand that he'll still be part of the pod going forward, but he's gotta secure the bag where he can. So I'm left to my own devices here. I'd rather not have my girlfriend fact check me on what this woman wanted or didn't want her son to be named. That's not the point. The point is there's a guy I know who wanted to name his kid Erasmo because his great-grandfather was named Erasmo. Crazy name. Sicilian guy. Born in probably the 1920s. Okay? So this kid was going to have a great-great-grandfather after whom he was going to be named. And his life was going to be ruined unless this kid have a psychotic Italian kid as well of his own to be like, we're going to honor the traditions. That name stays in the family. And it's like you're so close to fucking finally being rid of this stupid name. Stop giving your kids these dumb names. Stop it. Call the kid Patrick. Change it up. Something new. Fuck it. Give him an Irish name. Connor Adamo. What kind of Italian are you? I don't know. I like the name Connor. Up your ass, you know? Maybe I'll name him Lorenzo. Maybe I'll name him Sam Jr. Lick my balls, fuck. 12 hours till I could fast break. Till I could have a fucking steak. Ricardo Calafiori's girlfriend is a real issue. She's a handful. There were videos circulating a few weeks ago during the Euro when Calafiori was all the rage of the post-Juve Bologna match celebrations a few months ago, I think in the month of May, when Calafiori scored 2 goals. I believe we drew them. I believe Juve drew Bologna 2-2, and I think in the process, Bologna qualified for the Champions League. So there were on-field celebrations going on. The owner was down there. And his girlfriend, while he was giving an interview, Calafiori's girlfriend just comes on screen, kisses him. Coming to find out, this lady is like 5-6 years older than him. She's my age, dating a guy who's 22. Okay? So right off the bat, I got questions. A real thing that'll happen, I think, to a lot of young footballers who are good looking, who are, plying their craft, making money, is they tend to go for older women because a lot of other 22-year-old boys are dummies. They're idiots. And so, they, compared to their peers who they went to school with, who are 22 in college, drinking, going nuts, not really sure what's going to happen with their life. I mean, if you're a loaded footballer, you're basically an adult already. You have an entourage, you have a team, you have a tax man. So you're a full-fledged adult. You're ready to kind of lay down roots quicker. And so what you will often have is you'll have these older women who are like kind of at a point where they're 26, 27, 28. They're ready to start churning babies out the factory immediately. They'll kind of pounce on these young guys, these young studs. When in reality, a lot of these young guys should just enjoy the ride. If you don't have a high school sweetheart who's your age, just wait it out. Date someone younger. You're 22. Your fucking bride could be a minor right now. She could be 16 years old. Marry when she's 25 and you're 31, then get married and have kids immediately. Boom, you're flying. Take time. Enjoy your career. You don't need a lady who posts her tits on Instagram, because that's the thing with these ladies that are older that are always trying to kidnap, and groom these younger guys who are like these stud athletes. Is they're always like focusing on their brand. They're always trying to, be social media influencers. Many of them would like an agent if they don't have them. And so Calafiori's girlfriend now, apparently, after his move to Arsenal, which I think is all but confirmed the other day, said, yeah, congrats. We're going to Arsenal. Couldn't be prouder of you. Days later, it's rumored that apparently they're breaking up. She has to come out and say, they're trying to tear us apart. That wasn't my real account. I don't have a TikTok account. This is my only official account. I mean, we're twin flames. Nothing will tear us apart. People are trying to tear us apart. Sono tutti gelosi. Sono tutti invidiosi. It's like that thing that Caranasti was saying last week. Or what I was saying, Caranasti was probably insinuating when lamenting the fact that her home had been burgled. Her and Zaccani's home had been burgled. And she's like, this is Italy. Everyone's jealous of us. You see that? They want our fucking Rolex and our fucking AP. Like, bro, chill, okay? You're just morons who went on vacation, posted that you're on vacation, and your home was burgled. It makes sense. So this lady, I don't even know her name. We're not even going to give her the fucking benefit of naming her. Huh? My girlfriend's saying it's Benedetta. That's a fact check that we can get behind. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The fact that my girlfriend even knows who Ricardo Calafiori's girlfriend is or what her name is a problem. You should not know who anyone's girlfriend is if you want stability as a prominent figure. Honestly, the worst part about being a pro footballer is that you are in the public eye. That people give a shit about your every move and so on. Ideally, you want to keep as low profile as possible. Raspadori, best example in Italian football. Having a daughter with his girlfriend. I think they've been together since they were teenagers. They're from the same town, and they did a gender reveal by cutting into a fucking panettone. Look, it's pink. We're having a daughter. Beautiful. Off the radar. Off the grid. I'll bet you he hasn't posted once since Italy have been knocked out of the Euro. What, 3 weeks ago now? I'll bet you he hasn't. I don't even need to fact check him because if he's done it, I forgive him because he's a low profile guy. Okay? You could just tell. Calafiori looks like a guy who, from when I hear him speak, I think he's dialed in. I do think he's very serious, and I think he's very mentally strong. He's got tattoos, something which Raspadori doesn't have. As stupid as that sounds, you know, the ear piercings, it just insinuates that you have a little bit more of a desire to be a touch more flash. I think he could probably handle the older girlfriend better than a lot of other dumb young athletes. I don't think he's a sack of potatoes when I hear him speak. I mean that. I don't know that, you know, I would want his opinion on who should be the next president of the United States, but he seems relatively dialed in for a young man his age. He is being he is being kind of like tricked by you know, by the magic punani. And that's clearly what's happening here is this lady's a fox. She pounced on him, and you know, I don't know. I don't know if it'll work out. And frankly, if he plays well for the Italian national team, I don't really care. But I don't like her. I just don't. I do not like her behavior. It's clear to anyone watching what's going on. She enjoys riding his coattails, and that's a problem. That is a problem. This lady will go on reality television if she ever breaks up with him, and she will post about it publicly. That's not classy. You need a little bit of decorum, okay? Decency is gone. Okay, and I know it's a little ironic to say so as a guy who has this really obnoxious podcast where I'm just kind of waffling once a week. But there really is a lack of decency in society today, broadly. And so when you can get a person who has a level of decency, a level of discretion, that's valuable. And this lady is not giving him that. And I think his whole move to London is up in the air. If he was moving with his mother, I would say good. He'll crush it. If he's moving with his girlfriend, who's 4, 5, 6 years older than him, I got real serious questions. And I'm deeply concerned about the success of that move. I think it might have been better for him to go to Juventus or another large Italian club. Arsenal it is. Maybe it'll be better to get the fuck out of Italy. He will be playing under a better manager under Arteta. From what we've seen, anyway. I mean, Motta's an interesting coach. He's not had as much success yet, but I don't know. I'm, you know, Calafiori was the youngest player on the Italian national team at the Euro, and he was arguably our best player. And I'm deeply concerned about like what might happen to him now. It's like he's been, you know, back in Serie A as a bona fide starter for a year, and he's found himself a girlfriend who's probably going to cause him more headaches than not. I just feel like they argue a lot. I don't know that for a fact, but I feel like she argues and complains about, you're not posting about me enough. It just feels like that. I don't know. And you know, it's just not really what you'd hope for from the guy who you think could like maybe captain this team going forward. If not for the fact that Donnarumma was also so young. You would think that, like, the way that Calafiori played in the last tournament, you got to think that if he's around for 10, 15 years, who the fuck knows, right? That is possible. You could be around till you're 36, 37 as an Italian competent defender. As you age, you tend to, you know, your tactical acumen goes up. And maybe that'll go by the wayside in 15 years. Maybe Italian tactics will kind of finally be put aside in favor of, proper technical football and flair. That might be nice. We have a lot of flairful players. Look at the U19 Euro. We'll talk about that in a sec. But you do think that Calafiori is a guy who could he's probably good enough to stay in the national team for a very long time, call it 15 years. And the way he plays like a leader. He's not timid, not in the way he speaks, not in the way that he plays on the pitch. So, again, were it not for Donnarumma, you might think that the guy could be a captain, man, a proper captain, a vice captain, whatever. You'd want the guy to have a good grounding in his personal life. I don't know. The U19s are doing pretty well. I'm liking how they're playing. Very flairful. I was wrong about Simone Pafundi. A few weeks ago, I kind of scoffed at, it might have been Dilo who said Pafundi's a young guy who's a good player, who's worth taking a look at. And I think I scoffed at him and said, well, all right. Maybe. I think the only reason we know about him is because he played for Italy once when he was 16, but he's not done a ton. I think he was at St. Gallen or Lausanne Sport. I don't know. He was at some club in Switzerland last year, and he didn't put up super impressive numbers, and I kind of based my assessment of him on that, and that's a real fallacy. I shouldn't have done that. If you actually watch him play in the U19 Euro, he dominates. He's the best player on the pitch. And that's the type of guy who you would want. Again, it's the type of guy you would want to play for the Italian national team at some point, or to be given a shot, like imminently. And it may well yet come. He's only 18 years old. But in order to do that, in order to call him up, he has to get starting time for his fucking club, man. So it's going to be on Udinese this year to throw him to the wolves, and then kind of hope that he responds well, and hope that he won't be weighed down by whatever tactical weight will be imposed on him by his manager, because that's a real issue in Italian football. Is we don't trust the young guys because they can't do what I say all the time, and also if they do what I say, which I think will help us win games, they don't play with as much flair. So you don't wind up playing very modern football, but hey, we avoided the drop. It's like, man, that doesn't feel conducive to just nurturing young talent. So I think this year will be a big one for him, where we'll know whether or not he's able to take a jump. He was playing first team football last season. I think for the second half of last year, I think he was in Switzerland in the first tier on loan. But he's looking so good with the U19s, man. And he looked really good with the U19s last year, I think. Was he not at the U20 World Cup as well as a 17-year-old? He might have been. So he looks great. And Francesco Camarda also looks like a guy who you would want to be given some chances in first team football in the top flight. I don't want him going on loan to Serie B. What's the point? It's the Serie B coach is going to have the same amount of trust in him and his ability as a 16-year-old player to follow the instructions that are bestowed on him or that are given to him as a Serie A coach will. If you put him down to Serie B, he's equally likely to start or not, I would say. Unless he really goes down there and just dominates the training sessions and the coach is like, holy shit, this guy can never come off the pitch. In all likelihood, what might happen with Camarda, even though he seems like one of the best 16-year-olds in the world currently, is you'll have a Serie B coach who goes, my job first. We need to win games. I'm not going to throw the kid out there. He can't give me what I need. Or if the kid makes a mistake, you yank him, because it's not a farm team, right? It's not like the American system where, I don't know, you take an MLB player, okay, and you fucking put him down to AAA. Or you take a player and play him with the Primavera, where the goal is to develop them above all else, where oftentimes young players excel. But, the downside of sending a kid down to a Primavera team is he's not playing first team football. So the quality is lesser, because you have a lot of guys who are going to play, careers out in Serie G, Serie B. So you need the guy to play first team football, and you can't have him play first team football in Serie B. Put him, if he's as good as we think he is, give him fucking Serie A minutes. If you're going to send him out on loan, at least send him out to a fucking club that's in Serie A that has no other alternatives, like a Frosinone last year. I don't know if they got relegated. They might have. I think they did. Drawn a blank. But the way that they played Mattias Sule was, very good for Juventus. It really boosted his value. Everyone saw how good a player he was because Frosinone had no better options than him. So by throwing him into a team that sucks, you at least let him play a lot. That may not be a bad move for, Pafundi. Arguably, Udinese is that team. He shouldn't even have to go on loan. He should be good enough based on how he's playing currently to play for Udinese. But yeah, Camarda's one of these guys that, you're going to hear the name of a lot in the next 2 years. And in all likelihood, it'll be premature. But you never know. You never know. We just don't really develop wonder kids kind of ever. And he may not necessarily need to get called up to the senior national team immediately. But he needs first team minutes, and it should be in Serie A, because if you send him down to Serie B, you'll have some fucking coach in his 50s or 60s say, nope. Just like if you sent him on loan to a Serie A club, you might have a coach say, nope. So if he's gonna get the same amount of minutes either way, you may as well give them to him in the top flight, So I don't know. I'm liking the way they're playing. Kevin Zanoli, I think, is the name of that guy who's got a couple of goals so far. He looks really interesting. Again, it's really hard to gauge how good a guy is when he's playing at the U19 level, but there are some names that you hear about that you just, that you hear, that you read articles written about, or that you'll see are doing well at the youth team of any given club, or are getting called up to the first team at a young age, or are doing well for the U17 team. And every time they take a step up, that should be encouraging. So Camarda's already scored a goal with the U19 team. He absolutely dominated the U17s. The guy could still be playing U19 football in 3 years. So when you consider that, you got to imagine that if you just expose him to the correct amount of responsibility, in 3 years, he'll be a young guy at 19, and he could be playing in his first major tournament, maybe at 20, the next Euro. If it's not at the next World Cup in 2 years at 18, it could be. But that can't be the expectation. The expectation should be to develop them here. And the point is now, I think that Spalletti doesn't like the current core of guys that he has, and since he's apparently going to be staying on as manager of the national team for the time being, he will in all likelihood just call up a bunch of young guys who he thinks might be impressionable. That's not even necessarily ideal, right? You don't necessarily want to just call up young guys because they're young. They need to be able to offer something in terms of responsibility and accountability. So I don't know. I think a guy that I really like is Cesare Casadei. Cesare Casadei was omitted from Chelsea's preseason tour, and Enzo Maresca is their new coach, an Italian compatriot of Casadei, who I'm calling a traitor to the Republic today, because Maresca was the manager of Leicester last year, had Casadei at Leicester, played him pretty much every match that he was able to play him. He did so well at Leicester under Maresca that Casadei was called back up by Chelsea in January, and he hasn't really played since. So you would think that when his old manager, his compatriot, comes back to coach him at Chelsea, of all clubs, he's going to get an opportunity to play. Nope. So now what? He's going to have to go back to Serie A? I mean, sure, fine. If that's where he gets minutes, all the better. But that's a little disappointing, man. Am I nuts? Maybe, because I want the Italian kid to play. There are a lot of, young French studs who are probably of the similar, of the same level at the same level as him, of similar quality that we've never heard of, that I've never heard of personally, because I don't give a shit about French youth talent to the same extent as I care about young Italian talent. But it's really disappointing, man. It's like, what the fuck does an Italian coach need to do to win? Or sorry, to think he could win with a young player. He's 21 and he's played with you before, He's turning 21 this year if he's not 21 already. He's played with him before. So the idea that Maresca wouldn't trust him is nuts. Now there are rumors that he's apparently going to have to come to Serie A to get minutes. And yeah, please. Cesare Casadei seems like a very promising young Italian player. I want him in Serie A right now. Yeah. Wins the ball, goes forward well. As long as he gets minutes, that needs to be a real point of concern for us for the next 2 years is who's young and getting minutes and who's not, and whose heads need to roll because of it. I don't know, man. I'm on one today, man. I'm on one, bro. I'm enjoying life in the condo. We had a fun moment the other day. We went up to the pool deck, the rooftop deck here. Humble brag with my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, and while we were there was a fat Arab guy who was bald in a Moschino bathing suit who had 2 escorts with him, and apparently 2 days prior, my girlfriend saw him on the deck with 2 other escorts, and it was fun because we're a bunch of happy couples. I'm not an ugly guy, you know. I'm pretty fit. I'm in a bathing suit. These chicks are seeing me thinking, hey, there's a good-looking guy with a girlfriend. It's possible. You could get a guy to commit to you, but alas, they're selling their souls for this bald, fat Arab guy who's loaded, who owns a condo in downtown Montreal, surrounded by happy couples and families. There are families with babies splashing around, and everyone is looking at these people, at this threesome, kind of aware of what's going to go down in an hour, like, oh, okay, that's what this is. Good for him, I guess. We don't really give a shit that he's a playboy. He's not, he's not bringing whores around here that are naked in front of our children. But, I'm sure some of the wives are maybe looking at this guy like, really, really, buddy, you got to bring these tots around here. And unfortunately for these girls, they know everyone knows. They know that everyone knows what's going on too, so they're kind of a little bit uncomfortable. And, that's downtown condo living, man. That's downtown condo living. You have people that kind of live like Tony Soprano because they own a little piece of nothing, a little box. A little box. That's where I'm in. It's a box, but we got a little pod set up. So going forward, this will be where we rip it from when we don't go back to the studio in mom and dad's basement. I don't know. Let me know if you like the setup or don't. Whatever. Again, leave a like on the video, sub if you're new. This is a shorter one this week, guys, but I'm losing my mind here. I'm lightheaded at the moment. And I gotta run. I left this shit late, and I wasn't even sure I was gonna be able to power through this whole 30 minutes here. I mean, I got dry mouth currently. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back again next week with another iteration, and until then, take care. I don't know. Don't watch too much Alex Jones. Watch a little bit of Alex Jones. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't watch too much. A lot of you guys DM me. I know a lot of you guys are fucking ripping Alex Jones. It's dangerous. You got to be careful. You got to still make money. You still got to live. You still got to focus on football, the shit that really matters. You still got to make yourself you still got to bake a ziti on the weekend and have a glass of wine and get your dick sucked and just enjoy life. You still got to take it easy, okay? You're not going to control the world. Nothing that you read is going to, whether it comes to be or not, you're not going to affect it. Read about shit. Know what's going on. Italian football. Where's Cesare Casadei going to go next? All right? That's the path to sanity. I'm Sam Adamo. Leave a like on the video. Sub if I think I already said that already. I'm losing my mind. I'm fried. Okay. Till next time. Alla prossima. Ciao.